was a little slow on the uptake there. All right. Well, to introduce myself, my name's CC. This is my editor, CJ. We work on a channel called Speed Docs, which is all about speedrunning documentaries and sort of recording gaming history or speedrunning history and sort of showcasing that as a sort of a documentary style video.
Okay.
And we're currently working on Donkey Kong Country 2, and you are probably the first, if not one of the first, Donkey Kong Country 2 speedrunners, sort of that we know of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, you are a pioneer, if nothing else. I mean, it's very interesting going back through SDA history and reading off forum posts and things. But you were leading the way, you know. So I wanted to get you in here and ask you some questions.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So, I guess just as a general question, when did you first start speedrunning at all?
I started back in 2006. That was when I first joined SDA, Speed Demos Archive. And the first game I speedran was Dr. Mario 64. And then after that, I got into some RPGs, some Final Fantasy. And then I think it was either in 2007 or 2008 that I started on Donkey Country 2.
Okay. What specifically drew you to this game out of all the mini games out in the world? What piqued your interest about DKC 2?
DKC 2 was a game that I played a lot as a kid, and I'd play it with my brother and sisters, but lots of times we'd take turns, you know, choosing a level and just going through it and seeing who could play it the best, basically. And so I'd played it a lot. I was really familiar with the levels. And then my husband and I, in around 2007, I was getting him into games because he never played games as a kid, really. And so I was having him play a bunch of these old games, and one of them that I had was DKC 2. And so we played that 2-player together. And after we went through that, I thought, you know, this would be kind of fun to speedrun because I remember the levels pretty well. And so I think that's really why I got into it. Okay.
That's a fun deal. Yeah, usually it's the other way around. Usually it's husbands getting their wives to play games or something. But
yeah, it's the opposite with us.
Okay. So I sent you a link to the main SDA thread. Did you look at that at all by chance?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, that's okay. I sent it to you on Twitter, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I don't understand how Twitter works sometimes, because like comments can be embedded in weird ways. I don't know. So that probably didn't go through. So my apologies.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. No worries. So in the main SDA thread for Donkey Kong Country 2, there was like a main discussion going on where a couple of people were talking about it. There were definitely people who were knowledgeable, right? They were talking strategies about like, oh, on this level you should do this, on this level do that. And one person in particular was looking like they were going to do a run, but then they never actually went through and did it. And then you show up, I think it's mid to late 2007, and you're like, hey, just checking in. Has anyone finished this run? Because I want to do the run. And I wanted to know what it's like to sort of walk into a thread like that and just pick up where other people left off.
Boy, I'm trying to think back. Do you remember who it was who said they were going to do a run?
Freezing Inferno.
Okay. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was 13 years ago.
I know. You know, back then, I guess speedrunning a new game that no one had really done before, it was a little, you know, it's different than it is now. I mean, now with streaming and everything, you can see what people have been working on and see the progress that's been made. But back then, it was different. There weren't a whole lot of resources. And so the resource that I used the most was a TAS that had been done at that time. or was it? I'm trying to remember. I think I did some things from the task, but also, I think it was Mike89 had done a run on the Game Boy version, Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah, somebody had done a Game Boy run. I don't remember exactly what their name was, but it was like 102% on Game Boy.
Yeah, something like that, and that's all that had been done. And so that was really what I used the most. I watched that and then found out that a lot of the tricks on that would not work on the SNES version just because there were too many differences between the games. So I pretty much had to come up with my own route. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that does. Okay. Because I guess one of the things is that sort of, I think most modern speedrunners now, and myself especially, I came into the scene sort of like in 2015 or so, and that was more or less after the heyday of SGA and forum threads, or forum culture in general. And so I never really got to experience it firsthand. It's all Discord and Twitter and Twitch stuff now. So I kind of just wanted to pick your brain a little bit about what it was like to sort of speedrun in that time. So that does answer my question.
Okay.
Because I think it's important that you walk in and there's no video. No one's like, oh, here's a tutorial I did on everything. Or that some people don't even have footage of what they were doing. They're just sort of like, oh yeah, I got like we're gonna get to this in a minute, but you would post like, oh hey, I got a 58, I got a 56 in-game time, I got like a 48 in-game time, right? But you never really get to see how that happened. So but yeah, so I guess back to questions here. What were some of the key aspects of doing DKC runs back then? Do you need clarification? Because I feel like it's kind of a broad question.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I noticed is that you make it a big point in the thread that you can't get a run that has no deaths. Like, oh, this run has 6 deaths, so I'm not going to post this run. Oh, that run has 4 deaths. I'm getting better. That one's 2. I'm almost there, right? I don't want to post a time, or I don't want to record a time until I know that it's deathless, right? Do you remember sort of what that was like speedrunning that game back then, or does that make sense?
Yeah. So, yeah, I really was trying to get a run that was deathless, and I don't think that I ever actually did. But one of the other things with it was that at that time I was recording my runs on VHS tapes, and so just the whole process of recording it was a lot more complicated.
Absolutely.
And so I didn't want to wear out my tape too much by constantly rewinding and recording over things again, because that would lower the video quality. And just, I don't know, that was one of the most frustrating things for me. I mean, now it's a lot easier where you can just stream it, and record it on your computer, record it digitally, and it's a lot easier than VHS tapes. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I never really got a good run done that I was happy with, because it was just a lot more time consuming to do new attempts.
Absolutely. This is odd, but do you still have that tape or any of the tapes?
Probably somewhere.
Oh man, that would be a trip down memory lane. Not that I'm asking you to go dig them up. I just think that'd be really fun. But
I probably do have it somewhere, but I don't think I have a VCR or anything that I could play it on now.
Yeah, that's the other. Yeah, exactly. Like I think one of my CRTs has a built-in VHS player, so that might be the only way I could. I don't know. This TV in front of me does not have one, so I don't know. But anyways, that's not important. So do you remember any particular stages or tricks or anything that were particularly hard that stick out to you?
I know the level that I had the most problems with, and where I had most of my resets, was Rattle Battle.
Rattle Battle.
Yeah, that's where you turn into the snake. And,
gotcha.
And it's just a lot more difficult to control the snake, just because you're hopping the entire time, and so you have to do long hops and short hops and control all that. And if you get off a little bit, it can mess up the whole level. And yeah, that was definitely the level that I had the most resets on.
I bet. There was another one that I noticed in the thread. I don't know the name of it. It's like a beehive level, and you have to fall down the chute it's filled with bees.
Yes.
It's like, is it parachute panic?
It's parrot chute panic.
Parrot chute panic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one. So parrot chute panic. Yeah, and that back then I was not playing on emulator or anything. So to learn all these tricks, I was doing it on console. So I wasn't using save states or anything. And that was definitely the most time-consuming level to learn. And
it just looks hard.
I had to, and like I said before, I was coming up with the route on my own. So it's not like I had a video to watch and then try to, copy it. I was figuring it all out myself and without emulator. So yeah, that was really time-consuming, but it felt really good to get it down really well. And when it was executed perfectly, that was really great. A great feeling.
I bet. Yeah, that just looks hard. So I don't envy anybody. Mainly, it's hard to go fast, I should say, because I think you can have like the little parrots, but then that defeats the purpose of speedrun. So
yeah. I mean, the fastest way to do that level is to just fall down as much as you can.
Indeed. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, and then I was going to say probably the second hardest level is the one that's right after that, Web Woods, where you turn into the spider. And
Woods.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. There's you have to like shoot the webs and make your own platforms, and it's mainly mainly horizontal, right?
Yeah, and you're going over these long stretches of pits.
Okay.
And that level is really hard to do fast because you're making these web platforms, and you want to do that as quickly as you can. But if you make a mistake, then you fall in the pit.
I hear you.
Yeah. And so there is a trick on that where you push both the L and R buttons at the same time, and you can make an instant platform. And that trick is always scary to me because you have to believe that it's going to work. You have to jump out over the pit first and then make the platform. And if you don't time it just right, then you fall to your death.
Yeah. It's a true leap of faith.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you remember? So I guess you kept playing beyond just 2008, 2009, 2010. I think you even ran in a few GDQs, right?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Way back.
Yeah, I ran it at CGDQ, the very first Games Done Quick marathon. And I did it at AGDQ 2011, the following year. And then I did it at, I think it was SGDQ 2012.
That is correct.
Okay. I think those are the only times I did it in a GDQ marathon. But then I did run it again. Oh.
So I see one for, I think it was Japan Relief done quick.
Oh, did I do it for that too? Okay.
He does it so many times, you've forgotten.
But then I also did it again just this last December when they did I can't remember what they called it, like CGDQ.
It was the classic,
like the
anniversary one, right?
Yeah, the anniversary. That's what it was. Yeah. I ran it again there too, and that was fun, just going back and kind of de-rusting it. I really had to de-rust.
I imagine.
But yeah, I still enjoy running that game. It's just hard. I'm not nearly as good as the people who run it now.
Yeah. I was that kind of transitions to my next point. Were you, at the time at least, were you aware of anyone else running the game?
At the time that I first started running it, no, I don't think there was really anyone else who was running it. I mean, there was that run of the Game Boy version, but other than that, no, I don't think there really was anyone else. Yeah,
I at least based on that SDA thread, I can't find a single instance of anyone else running it. So I see some like footage of people doing like a level or two, but I don't really see anyone actually putting like time into doing a full run. So, okay. I guess, so you said you weren't aware of anyone else running. Were you aware that there was a Japanese community that was out there doing speedruns of DKC2?
At the time, no. There wasn't really any connection between the English-speaking speedrunners and the Japanese. And yeah, so at the time I did not know that it was a big speedrunning deal in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people, between the two. We were really separate, and so I mean, it wasn't just for DKC; it was for pretty much all games.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is kind of a general question that I want to ask. What are your thoughts about the culture of SDA back in the day, and like maybe it's focus on high quality runs and things like that? Can you tell me anything about this? Is more just general, the whole forum culture. There we go. Got the words out. About just Speed Demos Archive that people don't know about today. Well, how is it different?
Oh, let's see. Back in the SDA days, it was a lot smaller. The people who are speedrunning, it was a much smaller group than it is now. I mean, now you have whole communities around a single game, but back then it was just this one speedrunning community, and so I kind of feel like everyone knew everyone, or at least knew of everyone, and knew what games each of us were working on. That's a lot different from today, where it's like speedrunning is almost becoming mainstream. With the games done quick and everything is like, I meet people in real life who know about it. Whereas back then you'd say speedrunning and no one knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, I still get looks from people whenever I mention it. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, did you have another question or?
No, I was just gonna mention that one of the things I like about doing so many, we've done I think 11 videos now, 12. Thank you for correcting me. We've done a lot of videos, and a lot of them we have to go back to SDA to do research for, and going to different games, and then I see the same names appear in multiple threads, where I'm like, oh, I've seen that name. I know that, or at least I know that profile picture. I'm like, I know I've seen that person before. That person's appearing in all different kinds of places. And it's really cool to see the crossover, because I think you don't get a whole lot of that nowadays. People are a bit more insular, where it's like, hey, I'm going to join the Donkey Kong Country Discord, right? And you talk to all your Donkey Kong Country people there, but it's not like a broad place where people can come and go and dabble and move on, or just check in on people. It's much more, so.
Yeah, it really was like that. Like I said, it was, we saw the same people all the time. We all kind of knew each other.
I believe it. I can see that. Like literally, I can see, you all knew each other because you literally talked to each other, on different threads all over the place. So, okay. All right. Trying to think if I have any other questions for you. That was kind of what I just wanted to go over was, things that you remember from back then, especially like the hard tricks and levels, and picking up where other people left off. Okay, I think that's mainly it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's it. So, this was kind of a shorter one, but I appreciate you for hopping in. Oh,
yeah, no problem.
Let me go ahead and end the recording here, but before you leave, I do have a question for you.